Good morning, Rabbi Isai. In honor of Usher Zelig Farkovits. I know that kid, great kid, learns the daf every single day. When I was in Farakaway, he came 1 o'clock in the morning to hear the daf live. Upon his Hanochas Tefilin, we are very proud of you, Mami, Totty, Yisroel Dove. By Audrey and Keith Reich, in memory of Irving Roth, who was niftar on Tuesday. Irving was an Auschwitz survivor who went on to serve in the U.S. Army. Became an engineer and head of research for Sperry. A tireless Holocaust educator. He had a mission and fulfilled it. He never passed up a speaking engagement to tell a story. He wanted the world to know the evil he experienced so it wouldn't happen again. His good nature and exuberance will be missed. Refuah Shlema for Bracha, Paulette, how do you pronounce Paulette? We went through this. Bat Rachel. Bracha, Paulette, Bat Rachel. Wow, this is, I don't know if I can read all this. This is the longest one we ever had. We got to limit this, but for this special chashuv guy, we're going to, in honor of my son's third birthday, 6th other, may he grow up to be a tzaddik and a Yerushalayim and Talmid Chacham. My father is nifter. When I was 12, I waited almost 20 years to have a son to name after him. I waited, and I'm still waiting to name after my mother, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. When my wife discovered she was pregnant and found out her due date, Bekitzer, it turned out that the bris was on his father's 80th birthday. And Hashem Shemei Tefillah, there's a whole balagan in his family. They wanted a very particular type of bris with a whole matzav, and Baruch Hashem, the bris fell out on a tainus, and everything, Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. I guess he's a Sephardi. I'm not giving any more hints. By Shloime Rosenberg, Eli nishmas Harav Reb Shimon ben Yosef Zakharov Bracha Vav Adar. The Shelma should have an aliyah. By Vladislav Zakharov, Refuah Shelayma for my 86-year-old grandma with COVID, Nehama Bas Haika. And by Eli Dyckman, Eli nishmas Hendel Miriam Bas R Mordechai Duvid, his wife's grandmother. The Neshama should have an aliyah. The Chaylim should have a refuah. On one trip to Omaha, Nebraska, nearly 3 years ago, I was packing so much winter clothes that I said to myself, don't bring your art scroll, and you'll make up the daf when you get home. When I woke up the next morning in Omaha, I felt guilty about not learning the daf daily. So I typed on YouTube Daf Yomi and stumbled across Yishir. Today, I can proudly report, not only have I learned with MDY Tehillim nearly 30 plus different cities, not including airplanes, just real cities, in the U.S. while traveling and finishing shots, but now, my 7-year-old boy, do you guys remember the guy like 3 years ago came, Reb Chaim Kanievsky told him he asked to come learn the daf or something, and he came from Bnei Brak and came to our shir, and he said that you remember, and he said that he learned, he told us a whole list of 20 places. But now, my 7-year-old boy Ariel often joins me on vacation to experience the love of a Gemara that I've developed as a result of the Rav's, of Eli's dynamic shir. It's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi Reb Eli. Oh, here, he said my name. What? Yeah, the Rav Reb Chaim. On behalf of my entire family, may Hashem continue to give you the strength to continue. Oh, I hope to meet the Rav. Let's say it again. I hope to meet the Rav. I climb an inch every time. In Florida, I live in Boca. Or my next trip to RBS, when visiting my brother-in-law and sister, Robert and Jen, Early. On behalf of my entire family, Hashem continue to give you the strength to continue. Please, when you guys write, don't write Rav. These guys are making fun of me here. Best, Hanan, Averbach. You just insulted tens of thousands of Geshmaki Yidden. Hanan, Averbach. Maybe he's a Auerbach. Maybe he's a Auerbach and just says it. Oh, picture time. Rabbi said, check this out. Here he is with the Zisa kid. Okay, so here we go, Rabbi Yisai. We have an unbelievable Geshmak Daf. I can't even say we have an unbelievable Geshmak Daf. Ever since the Purim Torah, a lot of things are changing now. He gave me a subconscious thing. I can't say this, can't say that. Dr. Epstein is in the house. Rabbi Yisai, big round of applause. Woo! Simcha G'dayla every day. Don't do it all in one shot. Come, one day at a time. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? We are holding Daf Pei Ches Amud Beis. Today, we're going to be learning about that friend of yours. It's Geshmak Sugya. I'm sure you all had this experience. Shalom Aleichem. I don't see your face, but nice to meet you. Shalom Aleichem. Really a new guy. Shalom Aleichem. once in a while you have the occasion to go to all-you-can-eat restaurant, and the manager comes over to you, and he says, it was very nice that you guys came, but your friend is never invited again. And we're going to be talking mamish about that case, and as somebody just pointed out to me, it's daf fat today. So you'll remember, it's a good simon. But we are holding on Daf Peches Amud Beis all the way in the bottom. And we had a very interesting case. 5 people bring a carbon Pesach. They shecht it, they do everything they need to do. And all of a sudden they discover that one of the karbanis has a mum. So we said that you take all the karbanis and you burn them. They don't have an eight, so you can't eat from them. However, the 5 people don't have to bring another carbon. And the big question is, why don't they have to bring another carbon? One of the 5 did not bring a carbon. One of the 5 has a puzzle carbon. Ask the Gemara. Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. We have all these, Yosef. You were wondering, there's only 7 sponsors today. We need more boards, maybe tape. I'm looking for the sheet. Yeah. Oh, here it is. You don't know the rules. Somebody teach him the rules. Dr. Factor, we have a new guy in the house, Noam Fix. It's only 2nd time here. Here's the list. The Gemara is going to go through every option available. The first question is, you hear it, Nachman? Yes. Maybe everybody should bring a carbon Pesach. The Gemara says that's not a good option. There's going to be chulun ba'azara. So everybody should bring 1 carbon and say, if I owe a carbon Pesach, that's the one. Not a good option. You should bring a carbon b'tnai. Make it tnai. Each one should bring their own carbon, make it tnai. If I owe a carbon Pesach because I had a mum, my carbon had a, then this is a carbon Pesach. If I don't owe a carbon, there should be a Shloime. Can't do it. So why? Because there's the matnes kuna. So bring a kohen with you. The kohen is very problematic. Was a yaitzik Pesach, not yaitzik Pesach, manav shach? It's not going to work for the kohen. So bring 1 kohen. All 5 people should add a kohen to the group, bring a carbon, let him eat all the matnas kuhuna. And then the Gemara says, bring something called a moiser Pesach. Moiser Pesach is if you have an extra Pesach, bring that. So you'll be yaitza all problems, there's no chazav v'shoik, there's no matanas. And finally, and the Gemara says that can't work. So the Gemara says, so buy a moiser, look for one, search for an extra carbon moiser, and the Gemara says that doesn't work. Since it doesn't work, since we don't have an option, there's no eitzah here. The truth is, 1 guy owes a carbon, but there's nothing we can do about it. What should we do? We can't bring just plain carbonas just in case. There's going to be all sorts of problems. And memela, you don't bring a carbon. So let's see the Gemara inside. It goes all the way to the Mishnah. Again, a very easy, simple sugya. So from the 5 carbonas, 1 had a wart, it's puzzle, and memela, 1 person did not bring a carbon. So let that person has to bring a carbon Pesach now. Says the Gemara, you're right, mishum delei efshar, but the problem is there's no way to fix the problem. If each and every one is going to bring their own carbon, 4 out of the 5 are not a carbon Pesach. So 4 to 5, you just brought chulin into Beis Hamikdash. You shechted it as a carbon Pesach, but it's not. 4 out of the 5 already were yaitz to the carbon Pesach. So let them all participate in 1 carbon. And like this what? There's not going to be any chulun ba'azara. It's for sure carbon Pesach, this carbon Pesach, because 1 of the 5 has to bring the carbon. So 4 of them are just going to be false partners. Says the Gemara, you can't do that. You can't have false partners. They already ate the carbon Pesach. They are not permitted to bring another carbon Pesach. You cannot be registered on 2 karbanas. So Mela, they have a problem. And they certainly can't eat from it. So nobody eats from it. Says the Gemara, so let each one bring a carbon Pesach. There should be 5. And you'll make a Tanai. If my carbon ended up being a mum, So the one I'm bringing right now should be a Korban Pesach. V'didi tam, and if mine is a beautiful Korban Pesach, so what I'm bringing right now, so the Gemara lo yavshar. Top of Daf Pei Tes Amud Aleph. Mishum de ikke chaz v'shoik. The Shlomim, you want to say that if you brought a Korban Pesach, but it's not a Pesach, it's a Shlomim. Shlomim, you have to give a gift to the Kohen. Chaz v'shoik. Chaz v'shoik. By the way, everybody that's wearing a mask should put the mask on their nose. Mishum de ikke chaz v'shoik. The Kohanim uda achli lei. I wasn't talking to whatever. Mishum de ikke chaz v'shoik. The Kohanim uda achli lei. It goes to the Kohanim. Now, if you were here by Zvachim, we did a whole demonstration. And the demonstration, I gave a chaz v'shoik to Yedidya Kramer, who's Yisroel, but married to a Kohen, similar to you. You ever got chaz v'shoik? You for sure get chaz v'shoik. No, you, whatever. Okay. The Kohanim, the Yedidya's brother-in-law is a what do you call it? Is a shoichet. So maybe he keeps on getting chaz v'shoiks, full freeze of chaz v'shoik. What? I didn't give it to I gave it to Yedidya. I gave it to Yedidya. The Kohanim with the achlei. So, as the Gemara v'nesikol chad v'chad kohen b'adei. So what's the big deal? So you bring a kohen along for the ride. Says the Gemara, "Hai kohen, heichi dami." Hai kohen heichi dami. Ido avid Pesach, dilma hai Pesach hu v'nimtza Pesach nechal shalei l'menuyav. But what's the case? If it's a Korban Pesach, so Nehama, if the kohen brought already a Korban Pesach, so what are we dealing with? What is this thing right here? The kohen already was yaitza. Now you're just bringing him to eat the chaz v'shoik. But what if it's not a chaz v'shoik? What if it's a Korban Pesach? On the tzad, it's a Korban Pesach. What? The kohen is not registered to Korban Pesach. You only bring him on the tzad that this animal. It has two options: either this animal is a Korban Pesach or it's a shlomim. You made it tonight. If it's a Korban Pesach, the kohen can't eat from it because he already had a Korban Pesach. Elamai, so you're going to tell me he didn't have a Korban Pesach. He wasn't yaitza yet, so he's going to be yaitza with you. But he's eating from this carbon, and this carbon is a shlamim, so he wasn't yaitza. So now you're messing up the kohen. So says the Gemara, why are you messing up the kohen? Bring one kohen for all 5 pesachim, and he'll eat everything. Now that's talking about peites. That's a big, hefty kohen. He could eat a lot of chaz v'shayks. There's 5 of them. So, all 5 are okay for him, because if they're shlamim, he gets to eat it. If it's a Korban Pesach, he must eat it. So, he eats everything. So, he'll be yaitzer from the 1 out of the 5 korbanos, that's a Korban Pesach, and everything's great. Says Gemara, okay, I have a new pshat, a new problem. There's an isser to bring a carbon when you know that you are going to have to destroy the meat earlier than necessary. A Korban Pesach is only for the night. Take out the word yom really. We discussed this already. It says yom v'layla, it's a way to talk. Yom v'layla, but it means that night of the Leila Seder until Chatzos, whatever it is, you're allowed to eat it. So memela, all the meat that you have must be consumed by that time. Even the shlamim, because you don't know what's a shlamim. It might be a Korban Pesach. But shlamim, you have 2 full days and a night. So at the end of the day, if you look right over here, this is mamish like so eat it. So you'll find a way to eat it. That's why these people are not going to bring a carbon. They cannot bring a carbon as a karas. And I'm going to make sure that it's eaten. No, you can't bring it. So for that, there's a Taisus over here. Taisus says, I don't know if we could read it now. Well, let's go weiter a little bit. We'll read Taisus later. Says the Gemara, V'nesi moisar. So this is a very interesting shayla. The halacha is, if a person brings a Korban Pesach, he designates a Korban Pesach to the side, and his Korban Pesach ran away. And then he brings another Korban Pesach, and he's yaitza with the second Korban Pesach, and then the first one shows up. What is that called? Moisar. The same thing is, if he designate money aside, you say these $200 or $500 for carbon is for my Korban Pesach, and it gets lost, whatever, you used other money. Ask the Gemara a very interesting question. V'nesi moisar Pesach. The Gemara is saying, create a moisar. That's the Havamina of the Gemara now. Create a new moisar. Meaning, bring another carbon and call it moisar. Why are you calling it shlamim? And shlamim, you're having a whole problem because shlamim lasts for 2 days and a night. and I'm not allowed to bring a carbon that lasts for 2 days and a night when I have to consume all the meat in one night. It's not right to burn meat early. You certainly can't burn shlamim for no reason, and that's a problem. So call it moisar. Instead of calling it shlamim, call it moisar. This is my extra carbon pesach. V'neima, idi di balmum. If I'm Reuven, my carbon was found the mum. Haida isa hashta neve pesach. So this moisar, it's a name, moisar pesach. It's the extra pesach, so it should fit right in as my carbon pesach. Idi di tamu. But if mine was a perfect carbon, it's my friend who had a wart on his carbon. Neve haida isi hashta shlamim. So I could flip the moisar into shlamim. Every carbon pesach could turn into shlamim. The moisar pesach Cholei Yisrael leilu. So what do we gain? Because the mais at the end of the day, it's a moisar. It's an extra carbon pesach that has a halacha of shlamim, but its meat could only be eaten for one night, just like a carbon pesach. And I don't have this big problem that you told me before. Oh, how can you take something that you could eat for 2 days and a night and flip it into something that's a day? It's wrong. This is not wrong. They're equal. They're both meat that could only be eaten for one night. One is called moisar. I could either use it as a pesach or I'll use it as shlamim, but it's only eaten for one night. Says Gemara, your whole assumption is wrong. The whole way it works is if I take a carbon and I say, this is my carbon pesach, and it runs away, so what ran away? A perfectly good carbon pesach ran away, and then I find it, so I have a perfectly good carbon pesach, so now I'm stuck. But I can't create from scratch a moisar. I can't say, oh, I brought a carbon pesach and I don't know if I was yaitzer or not, let me make a moisar. That doesn't work. Moisar means it was good to begin with and it ran away. Says the Gemara, very good. So you can't create a new moisar from scratch. V'nitzruchu v'naisi moisar pesach. Go online, search. Maybe somebody's selling a moisar pesach that happened to him. Somebody in Australia set aside a carbon. It got lost, in transit. So he separated another one. So he has a moisar. He has nothing to do with it. He'll sell it to you for cheap. Scalping moisars. Huh? StubHub. Exactly. That's where you find the stuff. We're going to be using technology for the Beis Hamikdash. Ask Mendy, he'll tell you. There's another slight problem, not a very big problem. The problem is smicha. Every carbon, you have to lean on it. Well, there's a machlokes how much you have to lean. You lean on the neck. So let's say you're leaning heavy on the neck. You're not allowed to lean on a carbon pesach because if a carbon doesn't need smicha and you lean on it, what are you doing? You're working it, and that's asur. But the moisar pesach doesn't need smicha. So over here we could jump into Tosfos. Tosfos says, Hanamili de'eved. I see it's on the next thing, but we could jump on here also. What? What? At the end of the day, smicha is not ma'akiv. So v'teima v'chivish v'l'shem yeh noiser mishum smicha deloi ma'akva. Or lo yosem matanis gilchasa. Lo yosem matanis gilchasa. You come to the Safik cars. You see this Tosfos 2 Tosfos from the bottom. You're talking about a very, very slight problem of smicha. It's not the end of the world if you don't do smicha. So for that, one of these people is not going to be yaitz a carbon pesach. He's going to go this year without a carbon pesach, which is a kares. So Tosfos is shloimar. The toiv she yitche Safik kares b'shev al taisa. Mimash yasu rubim shleikoyge. Rubim masu pesach. Since 4 out of 5 already did carbon pesach, they're going to be bringing something shaloika halacha. It's better that his kares should be pushed off than they should. The bottom line is that this sugya is really a sugya of b'di'evet kind of things. It's not like we have this major da'iraisa facing us. It's where we have a slight problem, a problem with smicha. Hoteinach karban anoshim. That's great when you have men that own this carbon, they have to do smicha. Carbon noshim ma'ikel meimar. So some want to learn that it's referring to that. Go ahead and buy a moisar owned by noshim. You can learn it 2 ways. You can learn maybe it's a group of women that they don't have to do, but that's kind of hard because what the whole sugi is talking about women. It doesn't say anywhere in the Brisa men or women. L'chayr is talking about men. Let these men go and purchase a moisar that was owned by women that doesn't require a smicha. Ela mishum matanos. So we're talking about matanos. Matanos are the sprinkling of the dam on the Mizbeach. The Korban Pesach, you take it and you pour like this guy is doing, this kohen pouring nicely on the Mizbeach. When it comes to Shlomim, you have to hit it right in the corner. One that hits the two corners in one shot. And then he goes to the opposite side and does the same thing. Shtayim, he hits it twice and it equals 4 walls. But it's a completely different type of Zrika. Says the Gemara, but at the end of the day, who cares? But nan, we learned in the Mishnah. If you're supposed to do one, you're supposed to do keep her. If all you did is one zrika, you're yaitza, even if you have to do 2. So that's not the answer. If you look over here, look what they're doing. They're not throwing the blood, they're pouring nicely. And it says by Shlomim, it says, V'dam zvochecha yishafech. You spill it, you pour it. Now, Rashi points out, very interesting, that Vilu Shlomim bizrika. Rashi points out that a chatos, just as a derech hagav, chatos, you take the blood with your finger, you put it on the mizbeach. So we have 3 ways to apply the blood on the mizbeach. Either pour it nicely, you toss it, or you put it on with your finger. So that doesn't match up. Korban Pesach is the spilling. Yerushalayim bizrika. Says Gemara Ma'anaf Kamino. Batanya Kol Nitam bizrika Shenasam b'shvicha yotza. At the end of the day, you don't have to throw it. You could do a shvicha also. You're yaitza. Says the Gemara, and this is what Tosfos was saying. Eimar de Kamrinon diki avad. This is b'di'evet. The chatchila nami. In other words, I'm not going to go tell you do this lechatchila. The bottom line is that the reason why we don't force these 5 people to bring another Korban Pesach is because at the end of the day, there's going to be some problem here, a b'di'evet problem. I just want to point out that the whole Purim is based on something like this. They asked Rishon Bar Yochai, why is all of Cholei Yisrael mechuyev misa? He said because they were Nehama, the Sud of that Russia, and everybody discusses what did they do? They didn't eat treif. They ate bishul akum and all different, but they're all at the end of the day. Maybe the rabbanons, little things like that. Yes, if you're not makbid on the rabbanon over here also, so let them do a Korban Pesach. No, you have to be makbid on the small things also. And at the end of the day, why were they saved? Because they left on Shabbos. And not to be over for the Amir Lakum, the Meleches Akum. So that's why they were saved. But the idea is they have to be makbid on the Rabbanans and on the small things as well. Says the Mishnah. The official Mishnah sponsored by Official, from Official Catering. Ha'omer Levanov, Hareini Shoichet Pesach al mi sheyal mikem rishon Yerushalayim. I am bringing the Korban Pesach, the one that shows up first in Yerushalayim. You're going to see what's going on here. It's amazing. I have a bunch of kids. Whoever wins the race, he gets the Korban Pesach. The first one that wins. He's the one that is mizaka to the brothers. What is going on here? It doesn't make any sense. Says the Gemara Shema Menoish Breira. The father says, I have 10 kids. The one that comes first, he's the one that gets the carbon. That means retroactively, I decided which one it is. I did the shechita already. It's not the way to learn the Mishnah. Of course, the father had in mind every one of his children. But he wants them to hurry up. He wants to show them the beauty, the sweetness of the mitzvah. So he says, whoever gets the first is going to win. I would think maybe that he took back everything that he thought. He thought it's for all his children. And now he's saying it's only for the one that wins. No, it's for all the children. Whoever gets there first, it was just a way to get them to come there. Look at the Sefer. How is it possible that one brother is Zoicha, the Korban Pesach for all the brothers? It's impossible. If he was a shliach before he did the shechita, great. You can't do anything. You can't appoint somebody to be Zoicha in a Korban Pesach for you. But nan, where are we going to learn this? Mishnah? Your fault. Votnan, in 3 lines from now. It says in the Mishnah in 3 lines. Nimnin u'moishchin yedei mimenu achi yishochet. You could go in and out of a registration group. You could go in and out of the registration up until Shechita. But once the Shechita happens, it's too late. So once the Shechita happened, how could a brother say, oh, I'm a Yimzaki for my other brother? It's too late. The Shechita happened. So what's going on here? Shema Mino. So you see from here that of course they were all part of it before. The father just wanted to be Mizarez them, make them come quickly, show them the beauty of the mitzvahs. Tani nami achi. Maise v'kodmu bonois labonim, v'nimtza bonois zrizois ubonim shvalim.
This reminds me of when they used to tell the guys to race up the ramp and they threw them off the side. This is like dangerous stuff. Very dangerous.
Mitzvahs. That's a little different. Oh, you mean it was a raffle? Yeah.
And then they threw them off the side of the thing. And they
So Rabbi Isai. Yeah. It's to show the kids, the Chavivs HaMitzvah, what kind of kids we're talking about. Ketanim, Gedolim. Okay. So, listen to this Lashon over here. There was a Maisa, and a father said, let's go. They had girls, they had boys. Who won the race? The girls. What does the Brisa say? The Brisa doesn't say that the boys weren't Zoicha at all. The Brisa says, Nimsa Bonis Zrizois, they were the quick ones. They had more energy, Ubonim Shvelim. The boys were lowly boys. But what's the opposite of Zrizus? The opposite of Zrizus is Atzlos. So just say, the Bonim were Atzelim. What's Shvelim? So l'chayr you see from here, that being an Atzel, being lazy when it comes to mitzvahs is shiftless. It's degrading, it's low, it's below. I just want to point out a beautiful Vilna Gaon. It's what? It's the losing, being a loser. You're a loser. Yeah, that me. But I want to tie in this Vilna Gaon here for a second. That when it comes to mitzvahs, you have to be zaras. When it comes to mitzvahs,
yes, he does translate as lazy. He says shuffle, it means lazy. Nah.
But shuffle's not lazy. The literal thing.
Very good word.
Okay. So the it's a machlekes Gavid Eliyanaja. But when it comes to mitzvahs, you have to be zaras. You have to be fast. You have to be energetic. But I just want to tie this mashal into what the Gaon says. When you all go skiing, right? So when you go skiing in the Alps, you all do. You have to. And if you didn't, then you're Stama Russia. No, I'm just yeah. So when you go to the Alps, when you go, you're Stama shuffle. If you don't go skiing and snowboarding. So if you go to the Alps, there's 2 ways to get there. They're the same exact route, but there's 2 ways. You could travel during the day, and then you look at all the beautiful Alps, and you say, wow, and look at these waterfalls and the rivers, and it's unbelievable. Or you could do the same exact route at night, and I've done it many times. You land like in the middle of the night, and you travel, and you try to get there for the morning, right when it opens. You don't see anything, but you get to the destination. The Vilna Gaon says, when it comes to Torah, you don't use energy. You don't try to get to the end. You don't say, oh, when are we going to finish the daf? Hey, we finished the daf, and I finished the daf. It's not about finishing the daf. It's about enjoying every line on the daf. I'm not talking to you. You don't use the zrizos for Torah. You enjoy it. You enjoy the view as you're going. Are we finishing Masechta? No, you're learning every minute. Zok the Mishnah. La'ilam says the Mishnah. New official Mishnah sponsored by official from Official Catering. La'ilam nimnim olav achiye boy kizai. You know why it's a bad word? Because he has a kid.
Because I like finishing the daf.
I know you do, but you enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm enjoying the daf right now.
Enjoy the Yomi, not the daf.
Exactly. La'ilam nimnim. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. La'ilam nimnim olav achiye boy kizai likol echad ve'echad. We just read it a second ago. That you need to have at least a kazayis per person. So you keep on going. If 100 people want to join and have 100 kazayisim, gesundheit. There's 2 things going on here. I can become part of the carbon until the shechita, and I can leave the carbon, go to my friend's carbon before the shechita. Reb Shimon Omer, Achi Yizrek is Adam. No, the cutoff is not the shechita, it's the 4th avodah called zrika, but he's only talking about pulling out. But becoming part of the carbon, as we're going to see in the Gemara, he doesn't argue. It's until Shechita. To be part of the carbon, it's until Shechita. Leaving the carbon, the Tanna Kama says until Shechita, and Reb Shimon says until Zrika. Ma'ika mashmalon. What is the Chiddush here? Of course, if you have enough meat, you can bring as many people as you want. You can leave, you can come. Says the Gemara, there's a whole group. There are 10 people. They said, we're part of carbon A. They could all leave. All 10 could leave and go to another group. Because there's a Rebbe Yehuda later on, as we're going to see, who holds that you need to leave one person part of the group, otherwise it becomes possible. Says the Gemara, what? Right, that's what we're going to learn. It's coming to say not like that. Amar Abai. Machlokes li mashach. The whole machlokes is to pull out of the carbon. It says in the pasuk, right? I think this is the story with the Reb Chaim Kanievsky. I'm not sure that they asked him how many times they say Moshe, and he said the Chavei is 600, and he said, they counted. So what? And it says Miseh, it says Moshe, whatever, something like that. What's this funny word? An interesting word. I shouldn't say funny. Interesting word. Mihiyois. So one man says he's alive. When he's alive, before the shechita, then you can change things. Reb Shimon Sovar Mahaviyase this. When he's around, not alive, around, you're still performing avodah with it. You're still doing zrika, then you can pull out. But to be a registered part of the carbon, that's the only time they could registered on Makra b'michsas nefashos v'hadet t'chayso. You see over here it says b'michsas nefashos to register, and then t'chayso the Gemara is learning it as a shechita that comes afterwards. It says mamash mefurish in the Braisa. Reb Shimon Omer nimnim achi shachet. He divides it. There is registering up until the shechita. Here it says mefurish. Reb Shimon himself makes Abai's distinction. And to leave, then it's until the Zrikas Hadam. We just turned to Daf Amud Beis. Sponsored by KesheNafshi.org. Zechus for the struggling kids in pain of Cholei Yisrael. For Refuah Shlema of all Cholei Yisrael, especially for our MDY family, please consider joining MDY Tehillim group at tehillim.8mindaf.com. Says the Mishnah. This is the official Mishnah sponsored, poor official. It's costing him an arm and a leg today. Why? I love these small 2-line Mishnayos every 6 lines. Sponsored by the official Mishnah, sponsored by official Mishnah, sponsored by official from official catering. Says the Mishnah, I can't. I just did say it 3 times. If you, now here's what happens there. We could kick a guy right out of our group. What happened? This guy, you know that guy. You invite somebody and he invites his friends along. What's going on here? We said we're going to be our little tight, snobby group, and that Meshugana, he goes and he brings his buddies. Get out of here. You take your piece, go with your friends. Obviously, says Rashi, we're talking about according to Amud, you can make 2 chaburos. Okay, so here's that guy. That guy that you bring to the restaurant and he eats the all-you-can-eat buffet right out of business. And they ask him, Rabbi, next time find a different restaurant. This is a very sarcastic way of saying it. His hands were very nice, meaning his hands were very not nice. He fressed like the world's fresser. He comes to the table. They have a korban pesach, a small little lamb. They have how many lamb chops? 20 lamb chops, and he takes 18 out of the 20. What's going on? Get out of here. Are you permitted to tell this guy, get out? Could he tell them, hey, you put me part of the chabura. I'm part of the group. I do whatever I want. I'll eat as much as I want. Or not. We had a little meeting, and we said, we have a big problem. If there's one drop of korban pesach left, we're all going to suffer. We'll all get an avera. So they say, oh, you know what? I have a buddy that they threw him out of the all-you-can-eat buffet. He'll take care of business. Okay, shkoyach. He'll take care of he's not going to take all our food. He's going to take whatever we can eat. But what happened was, that we shouldn't be stuck with any Korban Pesach. We didn't know that you're going to eat more than us. You have to be fair. So what's the halacha? Can we kick a guy like that out of the chabura? Rabbi said this has also to do with the regular friends at a restaurant. We'll see soon. It says in this Mishnah right here on top of the page. Your buddy, part of the group, he decides to invite his friends. They could give him his little kazayis and tell him to go find another place to eat. This guy that invited more friends, it's like he's a fresser. He's eating more than everybody else. He's bringing more food processors to the game. It's not fair. If the fresser guy could say, no, once you accept me, I can eat as much as I want. So he could also say the same thing. Well, it's very different. Says Gemara, Amri Loi. You can't bring more people to the table, maybe more eating to the table, but not more people. We don't feel comfortable with your friends. I mean, we don't get along. We made a group, and let's stick to this group. It makes a lot of sense, logically. You can't just bring people I don't like. You bring all the Litvaks to the table, I mean, I don't get along with them. Get them out of here. So Mela, don't bring a riot from our Mishnah. It's not a stira, it's being comfortable. Pesach night, Pesach Seder, you want stam, random guys? You want me to come to your Seder, Nachman? Tell me the truth. Says the Mishnah, says the Gemara, Toshma. Huh? He's talking very loud, I can't hear. What? No, we'll say Nachamal, Reuven. That's exactly the shaila. Do you go by the amount of people, do you divide the carbon equally per person? Or you're there and you can just eat. You never decided an amount. When you go to a certain place, 5 people go into a restaurant, they eat, and they eat, they're going to start measuring, they eat. Toshma hashamesh she'achal kazayis basam b'tzadatanu. We had the sugya. You have the waiter, the guy on the grill. He couldn't control himself. He took a little nibble from the Korban Pesach. He messed himself up. He can't move from the grill. Why? Because if he moves from the grill, it becomes he's going to another place. He's not allowed to go to another place. So what does he do? He starts nibbling more and more until he fills himself up. But if they want to be nice to him, they can be nice to him. They can sit next to him. All surround the grill. That's only if they feel like it. But once you accept him to be part of the chabura, again, this is one of these questions that the answer is pretty obvious. But the Gemara's having is, you accepted me? Take me for what I am. I'm by the grill. Now you have to come to me to the grill. Says the Gemara, no. Come on. You're gonna follow our rules. We don't have to follow you. You decide to go on the roof, so we're gonna go to the roof. We're not gonna be matriach to go to you. You're gonna be matriach to come to us. Tashma. One of them was a big fresser. Here, it says mefurish. Mamish mefurish. If the guy is a big eater, you tell him, take whatever you have and go. Not only that, in the middle of the year, they made a su'udah. Take it and leave. Shma mina. From here is a great raya. And the story, it says mefurish. You could tell a guy that eats more than everybody else, sorry, we didn't realize, take whatever you have and go. By the way, the Pischei Tshuva says, what, because it say? There's no balabais here. We're just a group. Get? Now, the Pischei Tshuva just says that lahalacha, does the guy have to pay back whatever he ate? You hear the shaila? Does he have to pay back? This fresser ate double than everybody else. No. But we have the right to kick you out. It's an interesting thing. We can tell you to leave right now. We just realized what's going on. But he's allowed to take. In other words, he can take as much food as he wants. Not by your share and what you are.
You can't kick him out when he's in the buffet. But when he's done, tell him don't come back again.
No, you could kick him out in the buffet. In the middle of the buffet, you kick him out. Take whatever you are and go. So what's this v'loyoid during the year? We brought you in to help us out here, to finish up every drop. We're just getting together, trying to bring and have a great time. Nevertheless, they could still say it. Of course, there's no shaila that you could throw a guy out. Just like the Brisa says, first, you're allowed to throw him out. What was the Gemara's question? Right, so sometimes we have it, that we have him for Brisa, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. What, the Gemara is going to ask him for Brisa? Yeah, a lot of times the Gemara didn't know about the Brisa. Good. You don't have to know every Brisa, you have to know every Mishnah. What is this? There's another shaila. We decided to get rid of one of our friends. We don't like him anymore. We have bad midos. Fine, bad midos. Whatever it is, he's out. He slighted me, didn't give me Ali and Shul. I don't want him. Could I throw him out? Could I tell a guy, take your portion and go? It's because there's a guy that was a fresser. In that case, you're allowed to tell him leave. You have a great reason. But not if you don't have a good reason. Says the Gemara, listen to this story. They sat down, Rav Papa and Rav Huna, to eat bread. He was a very slow eater. He ate one roll. 4 times. Yeah, Rav Papa sold a lot of beer. He was he ate 4. Omar lei, so Rav Huna, these are Gdolei Adar. I can't imagine like in our days the Gdolei Adar talk like this, but in those days everything was open. Plagli, what are you doing? You're out eating me. Give me my portion. Rav Chaim Kadevsky telling Chvesu, Omar lei kabilton. You accepted me. No, I'm not giving you my portion. I deserve this. Huh? Yeah, this is for the lumdas, for the Torah. So he starts asking one after another. He asked him, and he answered the Gemara's answer. Then he says, Sham Shochal. That's the Gemara's answer. So then he asked him, like the Gemara answered. But then he got to the case, B'nei Chabura, I'm allowed to throw you out. No. That's because this is Stam Suda. You don't have the excuse that you brought in the big guy to help you out. No, this is we were bringing. So then he asked him from the weekday. Oh, checkmate. Rav Papa says, you're right. Checkmate. Palagle. So he gave him back his bread. So then Ravuna goes and breaks bread with Ravina. When he, again, a slow eater, ate 1 roll, he ate 8. Omar, Meya Papi, Ravina. I'd rather have 100 of Papas than 1 Ravina. So I want to tell you a Mordechai Duvid. Rav Galinsky said that when he was walking one day in Bnei Brak, he saw the kids were trading his gadol card. And it gave him such hana. Imamish, wow, the gadol card. Until one day, he noticed, he heard a kid saying, I'll give you 6 Galinskis for 1 Rav Shach. And that's it. That's what did it. So I have a shayla. I want to do some Panovich math here. Because Rav Shach is Panovich, so it's certainly... So if the ratio is 1 Rav Shach equals 6 Rav Galinskis. Shayla is 4 Chofetz Chaims. How many Stefanskys? And the Eitzah is, Rabbi Isai, the Eitzah is, you have to tell Rabbi Chanan Pressman, he has to plaster his entire house from wall to ceiling Stefanskys. That's the only Eitzah now. The only Eitzah. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shir Malo, Ismam Kim Chasicha, Adinoi. Adinoi, Shema B'Kali, there's a B'Kali, Ima B'Noi Tzishmo Yad, Adinoi Yamoid. Kimcha, Slicha, Leman Tivorei. Zelig, Son of She, B'Noi, B'Cholti. She Adinoi, Mishulim, Laboike, Shulim, Laboike. Then so Adinoi, Gimanoi, Achazeva, B'Mekdos. We've days to come and so Achenu Kabis Yisroel, the Sunim Mitzvah Shibyo. Hoin the Ben Bayom, Ben Bayabosh, Makim Racham, name is Mitzvah, Makim Makim Shibyo. Hashto, Bagalov is Makorev, and Imam Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Arya, Kutvak.
Gutvach?
Kutvak.
Gutvach?
Kutvak.
Gutvach. Yefeh. You live here. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome, welcome.
What was the thing you said that the mafia guy said to you? If you don't give him the money, he's going to do what?
Shilukin.
It's like it's a shiboila, so it was like
No, Shilukin.
It was a shilukin. I said, Ali, what was
Shilukin.
By the way, according to you, it should be enough if you don't get to the place. You don't have to get to the ski place. As long as you go most of the way, it should be fine.
Where?
When you go to the ski place, you don't have to get there. As long as you get part of the way there.
No,
it's
of course you have to
don't
finish.
need to
Right,
about
you're right,
As
you're
long
right.
as
You
you
have
get
to-
almost to the ski place, you don't have to go skiing. Just get
I hear.
almost to the
I
ski
hear.
place. You know? No, you don't have to get to the ski place.
You don't want to think. You don't want to think the idea. The idea is there.
Not to get to the ski place. Almost to the ski place.
Oy vey. Why did Gary? You shut off the meeting. Well, what happened? What? But why did it happen now? Be'emet. Who? It says on my screen by host.
How much is the kazai? My daughter yesterday.
Well, what?
My daughter told me yesterday.
Yeah. They go skiing on. Livey is okay. It came out okay.
How much is the kazai for the problem?
I think, what was it? 3 ounces? I don't remember anymore. I don't know. Mamish don't know. Not that much. What are you worried?
No. All right, my wife asked me.
I don't know. I'll find out. I can find out. I don't know. Gary's claims that he didn't. Why do I hear twice? Gary claims that he didn't shut it off.
Today's special. We have ribs, we have chicken. The guy says, I'll take one of each. No, it's Lo Mashana as a seven. You see that way? The way that comes around. He has a choice to do. He says, I'll take both. You're making me hungry.
I was once in a hotel. The day of breakfast, they offer a different.
4 Chavetz Chaims equals how many Stefanskys? Tzich lakpid.
Maybe I'll try and make a picture.
No, it's okay. It was just for the Vart. Great day, Reb Shimon. Of what? By the way, I was just thinking about it this morning. I think that Noam and Avi have something up their sleeve, some sort of revenge. Last Purim, I plastered their. Literally, it was like, I don't know, 40 feet long, the poster. It was massive. I had to find a special company. It was unbelievable. I had a little charot afterwards. It was a little bit much, but they didn't care that much. They don't care. They love their bald head. The bus lasted for literally a half a year, maybe even more. Hi, Eli, what's up?
You know we have to find someone who makes pictures of the side.
Yeah, I got your email, yeah. I don't read every email. I can't read every email. When you send the email, then I can't read the next one for like months because I keep on getting emails from people. I can't read the same one. It has to be variety, different names from different places. Maybe write it under somebody else's name. You chap?
This was a special one.
I didn't know. But what are people going to say? They're going to say, Eli, nobody writes emails to Eli. It's the same guy over and over. They're going to look at the shear a little funny, no?
Yeah. Eli, you don't understand. This Baritzvah has me the nephew of the Chicago Road.
So I'll call him up. I'll send him regards. Do I have to do it as an email?
Yeah, today is the Baba Yom.
So maybe I'll call him. Maybe I'll send him a message or something. No?
They're just sponsor the share like Farkovits.
Yeah, Eli, why are you sponsoring any shiurim? What's going on here? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. I'm messing. Chas v'shalom.
Tell me, you ready for the 12 sponsors today?
Wow. But this guy,
There was an 8.
Yosef, you're not doing your job. You got to tell this guy you can't put 400 words in a message. We got to get. I don't have time to read the important stuff.
I put it 398.
I was trying to do that when he said
What about 398?
I sent you 398 words and I sent it to you.
Yeah, and any additional $4,000.
you would have paid it.
There should also be a fee if it's multilingual.
Yeah?
English language.
Oh my gosh.
There's Panovich words in there, it's fine.
Panovich math.
Yeah, sure.
You notice Shloime left. Shloime, as soon as he heard the Panovich math, he left. He doesn't. There's no Lubavitchers on right now.
Well, everyone got kicked out, so we don't know who was here.
Gary, why did you shut down the meeting, Gary? He says it's not him. He's swearing it's not him.
Hey Mordechai, good to see you.
Who are you saying hello to? Mordechai. Mordechai who?
Cuz. My cousin.
David,
Ah,
you're famous. I see that there's a whole piece about you in the basic thing.
Beis
I'm
Tefillah.
on the spotlight this week.
Get to know this.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the shir in it. Very nice.
I did.
Very nice.
You didn't mention the website.
He said he's the official statistician of the shir.
Did you saw it already?
Vada?
Wow, go
The official statistician of the shir.
Show it to you or you saw it already?
I saw it. I read every word. Every
Rose
word.
was also featured.
Yeah, you like to bike with it? What do you do for sports? I juggle my kids. What's your favorite Gemara? The juggling Gemara. What do you do for a hobby? I juggle. What?
I remember these things from fitness.
From fitness, yeah. What else? It used to be Daf, your initials, and it's called Hadaf because of your wife's name.
Right.
Yeah, you want to Faher. Let's go.
You read the Torah? You read the Torah?
The
Oh, that you didn't read.
Oh, the Torah. I'll read it.
You got to read the Torah.
I don't have time. I have time for shtusim.
It's 470 words.
Really?
Yeah, you can read it. 470 words. That should take you 3 minutes.
You sure? How do you? What was the last thing I said in shir? The last joke I said in shir.
The last thing you said is that you love Chicago and you want to go swimming in the snow.
You sure? You didn't even hear the last joke, you chacham batata. You have no right to come on afterwards. We're not talking to you. We're not talking to you.
Eli, what would the Chafetz Chaim think of him?
What would Chafetz Chaim?
You love it that you are the new Chavetz
YouTube's
Chaim
off,
at
right?
the door.
I hope the YouTube's off.
Guys, drunk, saying, I'm leaving, I'm making macha, I'm leaving. Bye.